We heard you, loud and clear. You wanted more performance, merged with the BlackBerry features that have always kept you productive.
What if a company that once ruled the world could almost disappear in just a few years? Sounds surprising, right? This is the story of BlackBerry, a company that once controlled nearly 20% of the global smartphone market. In places like the United States, it even reached close to half the market. But today, its presence is almost gone. So, what really happened? How did a powerful brand fall so fast? Did they ignore change? Or did the world move faster than they expected? In the world of technology, nothing stays the same for long. One smart idea can build an empire, but one mistake can break it. In this video on Collapse Files, we will explore the full story, how BlackBerry rose to the top and how it lost everything. If you enjoy real stories like this, don't forget to like and subscribe to Collapse Files. The beginning. To understand BlackBerry, we need to go back to the 1980s in Canada. The company first started in 1984 as Research in Motion, created by two young engineering students, Mike Lazaridis and Douglas Fregin. In the beginning, they were not making phones. They were working on wireless communication technology. At that time, mobile communication was still new, the internet was not widely used, and smartphones did not exist. In 1996, the company introduced a two-way messaging pager. This allowed people to send and receive messages, which was a big step forward. Then, in 1997, the company became publicly traded on the Toronto Stock Exchange. These early moves were small but important. They built the base for what would later become one of the most powerful mobile brands in the world. The birth of BlackBerry devices. One of the first devices to carry the name BlackBerry was a pager with a full keyboard. This keyboard looked like the keys on a computer, called a QWERTY keyboard. The name BlackBerry came from the shape of the keys, which looked like small blackberry fruits. What made this device truly special was email. For the first time, people, especially business users, could send and read emails while moving around. Before this, they had to sit in front of a computer to check messages. At that time, this idea was new and very powerful. It saved time and made communication much easier. Because of this, BlackBerry became very popular with executives, salespeople, and professionals. It quickly became known as a serious business tool that people could rely on every day. A smart approach to technology. In the 1990s, many companies were trying to win the handheld device market. Brands like Palm, IBM, and Ericsson were all competing. Even Apple entered the space with the Apple Newton. But most of these devices struggled. The main problem was limited network bandwidth. Simply put, the networks at that time could not handle large amounts of data, so many devices were slow or unreliable. Mike Lazaridis understood this challenge. Instead of ignoring it, he designed BlackBerry devices to use data in a smart and efficient way. This allowed them to work smoothly without overloading the network. Another big advantage was the keyboard. Users could type quickly using their thumbs, making emails fast and easy. Because of this, BlackBerry devices stood out and gained a strong edge over competitors. The power of word-of-mouth marketing. BlackBerry did not depend only on normal advertising. Instead, it used a simple but very smart idea. Employees would go to business events and conferences. When they saw professionals carrying heavy laptops, they would offer them a BlackBerry device to use for free for about a month. Once people started using it, they quickly saw how helpful it was. They could check emails anytime and anywhere without needing a laptop. Many of them stopped carrying laptops and switched to BlackBerry for daily communication. This created strong word of mouth. People shared their experience with others, and more users became interested. The popularity of BlackBerry grew naturally without heavy advertising. Soon, it was not just a device. It became a symbol of success in the business world, and many professionals wanted to have one, expanding beyond business users. At the start, BlackBerry mainly focused on business users. But as it became more popular, the company decided to reach everyday people too. One important step was the release of the BlackBerry Pearl. This phone had features like a camera and multimedia support, which made it more fun and useful for regular users. Another big innovation was BlackBerry Messenger, also known as Beatum. At that time, mobile companies charged money for every text message. Beam changed this by using internet data instead of SMs. This allowed people to send messages quickly and at a much lower cost. This was a huge change, especially for young users who wanted to stay connected all the time. Because of these ideas, BlackBerry was no longer just for professionals. It became popular with students and everyday users around the world. The peak of success. By the mid-2000s, BlackBerry reached its highest point. It controlled around 20% of the global smartphone market, and in the United States, its share was close to 50%. People from all walks of life used it: business leaders, government officials, and everyday users. The device was trusted for its strong security, reliability, and simple use. Many people depended on it every day for work and communication. At this stage, BlackBerry was one of the most powerful companies in the tech world. It looked strong and stable, and few people thought it could ever fall. But behind this success, change was coming, and it would soon challenge everything BlackBerry had built. 2007, a turning point. In 2007, everything started to change in the mobile world. At a big event, Steve Jobs introduced the first iPhone. This device was very different. It combined a phone, a music player, a web browser, and more into one simple product. It also had a large touchscreen, which made using it feel new and easy. At first, many people were unsure about it. Even Mike Lazaridis believed that networks at the time might not support such a device properly. In the beginning, the iPhone did face some issues, especially with network performance. But Apple improved it quickly. Within just a few years, the iPhone became very popular and started to change how people used mobile phones forever. The rise of new competition. At the same time, Android phones started entering the market. Companies like HTC began making smartphones with larger screens and better features. Suddenly, BlackBerry was no longer the only strong player in the market. The iPhone and Android devices offered much better multimedia, bigger screens, and smoother user experiences. One big difference was the web browser. iPhones could show full websites clearly, while BlackBerry struggled because of its small screen. The touchscreen also made phones easier and more natural to use compared to typing on a keyboard. For the first time, BlackBerry faced real and serious competition, and it was not fully ready for this fast change in the market. BlackBerry's response. BlackBerry did try to respond when competition increased. It released new phones with larger screens and different designs. Some models even had sliding keyboards to keep the classic BlackBerry feel while adding modern features. But the real problem was not the outside design. It was the software inside the phones. The BlackBerry operating system did not improve fast enough. Compared to Apple and Android, it started to feel old and limited. Later, BlackBerry tried to fix this by creating a new operating system. But it faced a bigger issue. Developers. Most app creators chose iPhone and Android because those platforms had more users and better reach. This created a dangerous cycle. Fewer apps meant fewer users, and fewer users meant even fewer apps. Slowly, this cycle weakened BlackBerry's position in the smartphone market and made it harder to compete. Losing the market. In a very short time, BlackBerry dropped from first place to third place in the smartphone market. To try and recover, the company later decided to use Android in its devices. But by that time, it was already too late to change its position in the market. By switching to Android, BlackBerry also lost what made it special. It was no longer unique and started looking like many other smartphone brands without a clear advantage. Meanwhile, competitors like Apple and Android phone makers were improving their products every year, moving faster and adding new features. Because of this, BlackBerry slowly fell behind in a market that was changing very quickly. Leadership mistakes. One of the biggest reasons behind the fall of BlackBerry was poor decisions made by its top leaders. The company believed that physical keyboards were still very important, even when the world was clearly moving toward touchscreen phones. They also did not fully understand how important mobile apps would become. At one point, Jim Balsillie said that users only needed a web browser, even though app stores were quickly becoming a big part of smartphone life. This showed that the company did not clearly see where the market was heading. Another mistake was focusing too much on business users. They failed to realize that everyday people would become the biggest drivers of smartphone growth in the future. These decisions slowly made BlackBerry fall behind its competitors. A changing industry. The mobile phone world was changing very fast. Phones were no longer just for calling or texting. They were becoming tools for entertainment, social media, photos, and daily life. Companies like Apple and Android quickly understood this change and adapted their products. But BlackBerry did not keep up. It stayed focused on its old strengths instead of building new features for the future. The final decline. As competition grew, BlackBerry kept losing its place in the market. Its phone sales dropped year after year. In the end, the company stopped focusing on making smartphones and moved towards software and security services instead. Today, it mainly works in enterprise software and cybersecurity solutions for businesses. Its share of the smartphone market is now almost zero, showing how much things have changed. So, what can we learn from the story of BlackBerry? Success in technology never lasts forever. A company can rise fast, but it must keep improving to stay on top. BlackBerry once solved real problems and made life easier. But over time, it slowed down. It didn't listen closely to users, and it underestimated its competitors like Apple and the rise of Android. So ask yourself, what happens when a company stops moving forward? What happens when others keep pushing ahead? In the tech world, standing still means falling behind. And once you start chasing, it's often too late. BlackBerry had the chance to stay on top, but timing, decisions, and vision changed everything. If you found this story interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe to Collapse Files for more real stories like this.